get halted between those two opinions. The opinion of that natural man and the opinion of that spiritual babe. Because that natural man is wise and in wisdom and in the things of this world, and that babe is just saying, Jesus said, if you want to receive the kingdom, you receive it as a babe. That's what he's talking about. He's saying, hey, this is the way it is. Buy it. Believe it. That's the way it is. If you try to intellectualize it, you're going in the wrong direction. Through submission. If we ignore or refuse, it becomes a homogenization of the two realms. When we begin to seek the sanctification out of order, we're wrong. When I try to seek the sanctification of my body or my soul beyond the sanctification of my spirit, I am out of order and it will not work. Because what happens when we seek sanctification for the soul, and I'm not talking about for wicked reasons, I'm not talking about a prosperity message, I'm not talking about those things, I'm talking about the individual that just says, God, I just want some peace, or the individual that will say, my God, I just want to be healed. There's nothing wrong with wanting peace and to be healed, but if there's something in your spirit that God has dealt with that is still not submitted, God will not move past the spirit. You will be blocked, and nothing will happen in the soul or the body because you're trying to drink out of order. We try to take when we do that, we try to take the supply of God for the purpose of man. Every time that happens, it won't be very long till the next manifestation will be the opposite. What we'll be doing, because that won't work that way, we'll come back and we'll use the supply of man for the purpose of God. And then we've got a church that's made up of programs, presentations, and people running around and jumping just simply because they have to supply what God will not. And what I want you to see this morning, the homogenization never works, and in fact is very harmful, and do not be a part of it. When the church has activities, and these activities are speaking of operating in a spiritual realm, and you do not know the governing factor involved in that, it is dangerous to you to participate. I want you to hear what I'm saying. When we do that, what we do is we strengthen the enemy's position in your life, even though you're not conscious of that fact. And I will show you in Scripture that this is truth. In the mind of God, salvation is complete. Now, what that means to you and I is the moment we're born again, we are indwelled by a God that everything in your salvation is within that. And it awakes then that salvation awaits the sanctification process to be worked from inside out, to bring it from realm to realm. When we understand this, we understand that if you are spiritually saved, you are also saved in your soul and saved in your body, but it may not be manifest yet, but it's in there. It's there. It's complete. Also, what we have to understand is this has to be spiritual sanctification must precede sanctification of the soul and of the body. It must come first. It must precede. God, or you and I and the church, to a great extent today, seek the sanctification of the emotions and of the body at the cost of sanctification of the spirit. God will not do that. God will not do that. And the reason we do that is because, for one reason, the most innocent reason, is because of an errant view of spiritual salvation. We look at salvation as being our eternal destiny, but that's the end result of salvation. Or we might look at salvation as the new birth, but that's the beginning of salvation. Salvation is to restore the communion of God and man, that man can go back to his original purpose, and the original condition can once again be resumed upon the earth, and that's the life of God flowing forth from that vessel. Right now, not someday. Now, spirit, soul, and body is the process, and God will not depart from that process, from that order. For us to seek, or for God to be willing to give you what you need in your emotions or in your physical state ahead of your spiritual state would be like giving you a stone for bread. And God said, I won't do that. I will not do that. He will do the latter, but He will not do the former. What I'm saying is God will help your spiritual, save your spiritual at the cost of your soul and your body, but He will never save your soul and body at the cost of your spirit. He's an eternal God, and His mind is in the eternals. Look with me at the Psalms 119. And 67. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word. Look with me at the 75th verse. I know, Lord, that thy judgments are right, and that thou in faithfulness hast afflicted me. What we do, brothers and sisters, is we place far too great a value on this realm. Look with me at 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 5. In the 5th verse. To deliver such an one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh,